your night. I will find you. Make them dance just like you, 'cause you make me move. Yeah, you always make me go. Yeah, you always make me go. I'll run away with your footsteps. I'll build a city that drinks for two. And if you lose yourself, I will find you. Always make me go, 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 go. Turn up your night. Go, 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 go. Turn up your night.
My name is Marissa Levine. I'm the director of Inforum here at the Commonwealth Club. And first, a big thank you and round of applause to Ellie and David. They serve as the perfect tease for tonight's talk, The Science of Seduction with Dr. Jennifer Rhodes. Now, between our short video and the dancers, you can get a quick sense of what Inforum at the Commonwealth Club is all about, especially if it's your first time here. First, we bring you brilliant speakers and incredible discussions on topics of the day, and we add our own special twist and flavor to every event that we put on, whether performance, receptions, unique speaker pairings, grilled cheese. Our mission, though, is not just to connect amazing speakers to our audience, but our amazing audience to each other. So you'll actually notice the format's a little different tonight if you come to events at the club. Typically, they're all seated. We took away some of the chairs to force you guys to interact a little bit more tonight, because that's kind of half the fun. You're not just going to talk to the person on either side of you. Now, tonight's event involves a little learning and a little fun. We're going to welcome Dr. Jennifer Rhodes for an interactive talk and Q&A. Her amazing hyphenate title of forensic psychologist, dating coach, and image consultant makes her uniquely suited to talk about seduction from all angles. Now, afterwards, she and her colleague Richard, who is also here, will be available for some image consults. So if you are interested, we have a clipboard over on the side table, and you can sign up for a time slot or grab a card from Jennifer or Richard. Now, one thing I would like to get very clear, we are very grateful for the wine, beer, and afterwards the grilled cheese that you will be holding in your hand. So I want to say a big thank you to Michael and his team at Grilled Cheese Guy, to our pourers from Half Moon Bay Brewing Company, and the cupcakes are probably gone, but thank you to Angel Cakes for contributing those. Gone. Now, throughout tonight's show, we do encourage you to Instagram and tweet. Our hashtag is always InforumSF. Find us on Instagram and Twitter. Turn your ringers off, though. Now, one thing, a couple tastes of what else is coming up at the club. Tonight, I'm actually excited. We're giving away 20 free tickets to a great event that is going to be taking place on Tuesday around the episodic career, what's changing in this dynamic workplace, with some great panelists, entrepreneurs, professor from Berkeley, an amazing author. There's a clipboard on the side, so sign up and enter to win. We are actually also hosting Senator Cory Booker at the historic Castro Theater next Friday. Tickets will sell out, get them now. And then March is full of policy events as well leading up to the election. Let's see what else I have left. Now, one other thing, we can't do this without volunteers, members, in-kind contributors, and donors. We are a nonprofit after all, so if you'd like to get involved in any capacity, please see myself or any of our staff and our members of guest services on the way out tonight. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Jennifer Rhodes of Rapport Relationships, a licensed forensic psychologist who delves deep into the world of dating coaching and image consulting. She's bringing all of her expertise and advice to us tonight. Even better, you might see some familiar faces on the screen, and there will be plenty of time for questions and possibly even a chance for you to interact with her while she's on stage. Jennifer Rhodes.
Okay. How many of you want a dance lesson now? Yes? Anyone dance bachata? Oh, there's a few people in here. So I'm going to introduce you a little bit to Ellie, because Ellie is one of my former dance instructors. She actually introduced me to my dance instructors in New York, Edwin and Daniela. Ellie is the principal dancer for Team Rachata, which is the dance performance team of Rodney Aquino, who happens to be one of the best bachata dancers in the world. And so the Bay Area specifically has some of the most amazing Latin dance teachers. And as a part of being in the Bay Area, we should acknowledge that your dance community is amazing. So if we can give it up one more time. And Ellie is a very patient instructor, I promise. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what we're not gonna do. We are not going to teach you a whole bunch of one-liners for you to go around the room and try to use. Okay, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is try to understand why I think seduction is a science rather than an art, and why the word itself has been twisted so much in our culture that in the United States we reject it as a proper social skill. So that is what we're going to do over the next 15 or so minutes. And then we're going to move on to specifically talking about online dating profiles and how you can tie seduction into your personal image. But before I get there, I want to tell you a story about how I first learned about seduction. I was 18, and I was learning to dance. I had never danced in my life. I was not one of those girls who took ballet. I had no idea what I was doing, but I thought Latin dancing was what I was going to do. Within 4 weeks, my instructor made me do a competition. So you go to this competition, there were like 200 people there, and what happens when you are someone who's not really familiar with what you're doing? You kind of freeze. So there I am, not being as eloquent as Ellie and David, and I panicked. And my partner said, whispers into my ear, just go ahead, look at the judges, and smile. And so I grounded myself, and I did that. I smiled at the 2 male judges. 2 minutes later, I had won the dance competition. So we're actually going to practice that skill right now. So some of you hopefully have had a drink, maybe 2. We're going to practice the skill. I want you to pick someone. People in the front have to turn around. I want you to pick someone who caught your eye earlier this evening. I want you to make eye contact with them, and I want you to smile. Yeah? No, we're really going to do it. It's okay, you can smile at me. Good job. Good. How's everyone feeling? How's everyone feeling now? Awkward. You know why you guys feel awkward? Because we're in San Francisco and we don't do this enough out socially. How many women have gone to a bar in San Francisco, have literally been the only woman there, and a room full of 20 men, and not one man has approached them? There's like 20 hands up right now. That is the San Francisco dating scene. So what I would like people to do for us to get to know each other is I'd like you to participate in answering this question via text message, because that's what we do in San Francisco, we text. So you can text DR19 to number 37607 and answer this question. Is there something you've dreamed of doing for a long time and why you haven't done it yet? You're going to text Dr. 19, and the number is 37607. Oh, good, a threesome. That's great. Learn a new language. Ask my yoga teacher out. That's a good one. Rule the world. We got a number of people who want to do threesomes. That's good. We're going to talk about why you haven't done it yet. Quit your job. Good. Scuba diving. Go to Peru. So You guys can continue to answer, but this question is actually from the 36 questions that were in the news about 18 months ago, when 2 psychologists realized they can make anyone fall in love by staring into each other's eyes for 4 minutes. And then these 36 questions came up. This is one of them. These types of questions build intimacy and are more appropriate for dating or building relationships. And we just learned a lot about the people in the room. We learned that a lot of people want to have threesomes, want to quit their job, they want to go streaking, and they want to travel. Okay? Okay, so we know each other a little bit. We've asked a somewhat intimate question, although we've had to answer through text messaging. And now we're going to talk about a little bit about when online dating goes wrong. Because what are the first things you see in someone's profile? It's their age, gender, what you do for a living. Does that tell you anything about the person that you're interacting with? No. And it's also really not conducive for building any kind of chemistry with people. It's not sexy. It really doesn't matter to your long-term relationship what someone's age is or how much money they're making or what they do for a living. And so all you get is basically, in these day and age, is a picture. And let's face it, we're going to look at some profiles where the pictures are the most horrible things we've seen. So I'm not sure what Nina was doing. We'll leave it alone. I don't know who Kim is, so we're not sure which way we're swiping. Jacob, I think the dog is cute, but I'm not sure if that's his sister or what's going on. It's not a very happy photo. Oh, and by the way, I have a Windows phone and not an iPhone, so it says Timber instead of Tinder on the app. And then you have Scott, and Scott didn't put a picture up there. It's a toilet paper logo. It might be intriguing if you like quirky, but then this is the next picture he shows. So we're going to swipe the other way for Scott, or at least for me. This is my online dating profile photo from 5 years ago. To the right. And to the left is Graham, who is a client of both mine and Richard's, who is happily dating, and so he is not here this evening. He's got so many options now, he doesn't know what to do with himself. What are the things that stand out in these photos? Number one, we're not wearing black. Not wearing black. Number two, their colors red and green are visible. And then number three, what we just did earlier, we're both smiling. Okay? The biggest mistake that men make in their visual presentation is a lack of a smile. Today, this is a quote from Robert Greene's book on seduction. How many of you read that book? Only a couple. I highly recommend it. It's a great read. And the beginning of his book talks about that now seduction skills are necessary for all aspects of your life. You see them in business. In fact, I had a conversation this evening with someone about how you use seduction in business. You see it in your personal life. You see it in your dating life. You see it when you've been married for 20 years and you need to delicately approach situation. You see it all the time, and so there is now more of a need than ever for all of us to learn this particular skill. And in fact, without seduction, if we do not pay attention to our relationships, romance doesn't happen at all. If we leave things to chance without trying and learning these skills, our love life becomes a disaster. Okay, so just a reminder, we're not giving you a manual here, but I am going to teach you what seduction actually is. Seduction has two definitions. One of them is to lead astray. This is what most people think of when they think of seduction. This is the way that the pickup artist movement has branded themselves. This is manipulative. This is, we're at a Vegas nightclub and I want to see how fast I can get that woman into bed. That's what that seduction is. But there's another meaning to seduction, which means to lead along. And that's what romance is. It is the same skill set, but the purpose is different. Real seduction is about someone who actually really loves to learn about people, who loves the physical attraction, but also the intellectual capacity that the other person brings, and they want to get to know everything about them because they're so invested in trying to make that person happy and enjoy spending time with them that everything comes so naturally. Romance unfolds, people open up, we're not defensive, we can smile without feeling awkward. That's what seduction really is supposed to be. Real seduction is supposed to be selfless. That is not the message that our culture sends, especially to our young generation. The message that is sent is that seduction is manipulative, and that is really not the case. Tool of seduction. Your image. Seduction always starts with your image. You know, most of you are familiar with tools of flirting and the things that come actually way after this particular piece. But your image and who you are and who you want to be needs to come first. So what happens is that people will start dating or they get into a new relationship and sometimes they lose themselves or they don't know exactly what it is that they want. And all of a sudden you get inundated with outside information and you start adjusting to the other person rather than staying grounded with who you are. So in this room, I will remember 2 or 3 people in this room. I will remember them because we're going to talk about one of them later today because he has branded himself as a superhero. And he was smart enough to come in a red shirt. Because when I look at the sea of all of you, the only people standing out to me are those wearing red. There's a lot of blue and black going on in this room. So if you take a look at this photo, it's not just that he might be you may find him attractive. That's not what it is. He has it's a high quality photo, but he has strategically placed his personality in the photo. He's in a city. You don't know where, but the photo's taken in a city. There's color. He's wearing a bow tie. Not every man can pull that off. It's part of his personality. He's showing his watch. Watch is a very important accessory for all men. You can probably learn more by looking at this photo than you can in asking the superficial questions you do when you meet someone, which are how many brothers and sisters do you have? How old are you? Where'd you go to school? All that stuff. Pictures are inherently seductive. So when we are trying to put together online dating or a bio or trying to impress people, I'm not quite sure why in the relationship realm we don't pay attention to our photos, because you have complete creative control over that. The way that you are perceived, you can control that. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to play a game before we start looking at more photos. And the game is called I Have Secrets. So right now, I want you all to think about a secret. It could be something from childhood that you haven't told anyone in 20 years. It could be something that happened earlier today that's embarrassing. It needs to be something that you would laugh at yourself if you told someone. Everyone got one in their head? Good. Now I want you to turn to the person to your left and tell the person your secret. You guys are way more animated than you were during cocktail hour. What would it be like if every date you went on, whether you're single or married, what would it be like if every date you went on felt like this? Because this was way more animated than you were when you walked in, and I'm sure you guys all had at least one cocktail. You can quickly get to that place if you begin to become a little bit more vulnerable and you ask more interesting questions. So that's actually a particular question you can use whenever you're in a social situation. You can ask someone to share a secret with you. Okay, returning now that you have to hold people's secrets in your head, you can turn back now to the image piece. The psychological research has shown that we make an impression about someone in less than 1 second. It is not 7 seconds like we commonly talk about. It is less than 1 second. The minute that you see someone, you have already unconsciously made a decision in your head about that particular person. So whenever you are putting your image out there, whether it's in person or online, people are going to consciously or unconsciously judge it. So, to remind you and to wrap up before question and answer, the energy that is in this room right now is the foundation for some romance to happen tonight. Either you came with a loved one and you're going to go home really happy, or you've been here and you've potentially at least made a new friend or a colleague, or maybe you've met someone you might be interested in going on a date with. But that energy does not happen in a room of unhappy people. A room of unhappy people is when the manipulative pickup artist does their best work. So it is vitally important for each one of you, and San Francisco is the greatest place to do this, is to follow your passion, to become a happy and fulfilled person. Because the happier you are not going to be prone to these tactics that you might come across either in business or your personal life. Happy people are immune to the pickup artist. They will not seek you out. So the more happier we become, the better we can enjoy our life, more likely you're going to project a positive image, and then that kindles romance. When you are in that phase, you are going to be open to the right game of seduction. That's when someone you're interested in begins to court you, which is a lost term that we don't always talk about in this day and age anymore, but actually going on a real date. The number of 24-year-old women I talk to who have never been on a real date scares me. So all of you here are now ambassadors that you know that real dates are important, whether you're in a relationship or you're single, and you're going to make sure that romance blossoms in San Francisco, because there is no reason why it should be this hard to date here. San Francisco has more IQ points than many other cities. It should not be this difficult. One final thought. You do not need to be good at seduction. Many of you who I talked to tonight actually have this skill and you do not know it. The best person at seduction is the person who doesn't know that they are inherently seductive. They're usually just warm and friendly and natural. Use that to your advantage. If you know that's who you are and you are a nice person, you are a good person, project that out into the world because you're going to bring people to you. Okay? So we're going to shift right now to question and answer. And I do, actually, because I see a show of hands of people who want to ask a question. Okay, so I think what we're going to do first, there have been people who submitted online dating profiles. We're going to go through a couple of those, and then I will take a couple of the questions. Where's Super Greg? Super Greg, come up. Can you give Richard the mic? Right here. Hi, Super Greg. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Okay, what I want everyone to do is I took pieces of your profile, I hope you don't mind. I took some photos of Super Greg's online dating profile. I want you to take a look at the photos, and I want you to think about, who do you think he's looking for? Looking for a wife, a guy. Who else do we think he's looking for? Someone with a good sense of humor. What else? He's looking for Wonder Woman. That's a good answer. Lois Lane. Oh. Okay. Do you know who you're looking for? Yeah? Do you want to tell people who you're looking for?
A wife, Wonder Woman.
You're looking for a wife and Wonder Woman. Greg is looking for a serious relationship. Greg is looking for a serious relationship with a very exploratory woman. It's good news, you're in the right city. San Francisco's a good place for that. I don't think your pictures are necessarily going to bring you Wonder Woman. So Richard, who is my colleague and a personal shopper for men at Nordstrom, has been amazing with some of my other clients. He's going to say a couple words from a man's perspective on what he sees of your photos. Yep.
Hello? Oh, Keely, can I grab that?
That's on.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, it's on now. Hey, Greg. I commend the personality. Looks like you're a fun guy. I think the one thing that we need to understand is when we're grooming or styling is we want to make sure that we're taking serious. I think later in the relationship when you meet someone, because when we're grooming, we want to bring attention to ourselves, right? We want to build confidence. We want to attract the opposite sex or whoever you want to attract, right? The Superman stuff is fun and it's cute, and that's your personality that's going to exude after you've courted someone, after you've caught someone's eye. You're an attractive guy. Getting you in the right pieces, the right fits, a little bit more relevant. That's something you can do at a fun Beta Breakers event. But for your personal piece, you might be sending the wrong signal.
Yeah, actually, can you show us your muscle? Can you just go like this one? Which one? Oh, nice. Just like flex your arm for us. Okay. Greg, you're a very attractive man. I don't think that's conveyed in your photos. I think that is somewhat problematic. I think that's... Here's a picture, man of picture dog. Now, ideally, I would like you in the picture. But one way to demonstrate your interest in superheroes and costumes is to take a photo with pictures of what you like in the background. So then you can have a photo of you, your parents' puppy,
On what?
parents' puppy, and show your personality in the background of your profile picture. I think that, and being incredibly well-dressed, is going to attract Wonder Woman to you because you are looking for someone serious. But since you're up here, does anyone want to talk to Greg? Yes?
Is this thing on?
No?
Okay, I'm going to officially disagree with what was just said because I think that life is taken way too seriously all the time. And I think that being fun is in your personality and you should let that shine, and then you're going to find a fun person who wants to have fun with you. So.
Would you like to go on a date with him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
So there you go.
Good. So one thing is, this is, when on an OkCupid profile, you have a little bit more time to look at someone's profile, but in the other profiles these days, all you have is that first picture. And if that first picture does not grab your interest, usually with color, you start swiping the wrong way. So I think that we could shift your photos and still have them be fun, and then all of a sudden you're gonna have like 20 dates with Wonder Woman and be in a relationship in the next 6 weeks or so. How does that sound to you?
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you for being such a good sport. It was really nice to meet you. Okay. Are there other questions? There's a question over here.
Why do you think that the dating scene in San Francisco is the way it is right now?
Yeah. So I am bi-coastal, but I'm originally from New York, which is why I have a love of shoes. But I have lived in the Bay Area for 6 years. And I think that the dating scene here is probably, out of the 5 cities I've lived in the past 8 years or 10 years, San Francisco is by far the hardest city to date in. It is hard because we do not naturally connect with other people. So when you are out and about, you're not talking to people on the bus, you're not talking to people on the Google shuttle, you're not necessarily talking to people on your way to Facebook. You're not going to a bar and always socializing with people who happen to be there in the way that you just did this evening. So it becomes incredibly hard for that one brave soul in that social place to break the ice for everyone. It is a conscious effort everyone needs to make in order to turn the energy of the city so that people are more able to connect. Whereas, in a city like New York or the East Coast, it's like you have to wear blinders because everyone is in your business every day of the week. And so it's just a different energy, and so people have to put forth effort if they're looking to meet new people. So San Jose, so it's interesting. South Bay, I think that some people tend to be a little bit more open and warmer, but it depends what social scene you are in. I think in the Bay Area and as a whole is a very just difficult place to date and has nothing to do with the demographics. That's been done. Startups have flown women to Silicon Valley because they thought it was a numbers issue, and it's not a numbers issue. It's just our culture is different, and we all need to work together to kind of inject the sexiness back into the city. Thank you. Yes.
I'm assuming you've given a lot of these talks. I'm curious to know what surprises you to find out about people and what messages you have to either keep giving or you're surprised to have to give.
If I ever been surprised by something a client has told me, I have a male client in New York who contacted me because he had been married to his wife for a very long time and was having thoughts about a different family member in the family. And it was particularly related to his wife's image, that he had a shoe fetish and she stopped wearing her heels. And so he wanted a consultation about how to inject back into the marriage one of the things that led to their great sex life, which was that she used to love wearing her heels. Well, when you get older, we can't always wear those heels. So I had to go, so what we did is we went into their home and created a shoe closet. I then sent them shopping together so they can enjoy the experience of looking at certain kinds of shoes. And then the shoes became bedroom shoes. So she didn't have to wear them out because she didn't want to anymore. And so she got to enjoy them because she wasn't hurting her feet, and their marriage is back on track. Yes. One more. Thank you. This will be the last question.
Can you explain a bit more about what you do as a style consultant? Like, what does that mean?
So the question was, what do I do as a style consultant? So my background and training, we know, been mentioned, I'm a psychologist, but I've also been trained as a professional image consultant. And the person who trained me was very adamant that the work that we do is supposed to align your inner essence with your outer appearance. So I walk clients through not just going shopping, we do a lot of work ahead of time of figuring out who you are, what your core values are, what your deal breakers are, and then we shift your wardrobe to match that. And what happens is when every aspect of your life is in alignment, life becomes a little bit easier. So when your wardrobe truly reflects your personality and who you are, then decisions about dating and other things become a piece of cake. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. I'm actually going to do a very traditional in-forum question to Jennifer, which she didn't know I was going to ask her. And before I do that, I'm just going to tell you we'll be here until about 9 o'clock tonight. Lots of beer, lots of wine. We've got Michael and his grilled cheese team cooking away. You can smell it during this presentation. After you leave, if you're still wanting to keep the party going, Bar 587 is a neighbor of ours right next door, and they'll give you $1 off drinks if you go in and say you just came from the Commonwealth Club. So feel free when we kick you out eventually to head next door. But Jennifer, in the Inforum tradition, what is your 60-second idea to change the world? We actually ask this at the end of all of our talks. And so I'd love to hear what Jennifer has to say.
That's a great question. So I started my business leaving my practice as a forensic psychologist where I did high-end child custody evaluations. Every day, my life was about choosing which parent got custody of their kids. Because I specialized with young children under the age of 3, so I was dealing with families who had infants and young children, the emotional toll that was taking on everyone, including myself, was a lot. And I realized that one of the things that I wanted to do with my career was prevention. And I think that I started my business because I don't think there's a better way to change the world than to make sure that people get into the right relationship from the start. So my mantra and philosophy is that relationships matter most, and that is why I do what I do, and I think will change the world.